He's getting smaller. Trying to do that, Zach. You're trying to do that.
We are
trying to do that with my real body.
live on both.
Hello and welcome back to Deep Cues with Us and You. I'm Zach Atherton, and joined with me are two of my dearest friends, Deep Thoughts Shae.
We all have a different name for this show. So Zach says Deep Cues.
With Us and You. What's your name for it?
Mine's Big Talk.
Big Talk.
That's right. And mine's Chums.
Chums with Chums.
Chums with Chums. Right out of seniors. Right out of your Cedar City, Utah.
For 99.9% of you, Chums is a company that makes different glasses accessories.
Nationwide. Delivers nationwide.
Nationwide. Found at your local nursing home.
We did a
And
show.
truck stop.
And truck stop.
And truck
and
stop.
in the back, Pugs. Those are Pugs. You're thinking of the wrong brand. Those are one of our competitors.
Well, here's the format of the show. This is where we ask deep cues. We really try to get into
And
it.
we answer them.
And we answer them, too. This isn't just a questions podcast. This is a question and answer podcast.
That'd be funny. We just ask good questions and then we go, it's a good question.
Good question.
Good question. Next.
Dude, it's always a bad question when they say, good question.
Yeah. Do you hate when people say that's a good question and then they don't answer it?
Yeah, they just go on to more of why they said it.
Yeah.
Dude, that is very much a business thing.
It's a good question. Anyways.
You're not going to like this answer. It's a good question.
Chat, if you have any deep questions that you want us to answer, we are ready to get into it. You leave it in the chat. We'll read it out loud. And again, we want like deep questions. Like, what does a first kiss really mean? We had one last time. We basically cured someone's dating woes, and we perfectly told them how to date somebody.
By making them scared that Shae will say no.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. I've got a question, but if any of y'all have a deep cue you want to get out there first, more than
Let's see.
happy.
Let me get my
Spit
chums
it.
on.
Spit it out.
Okay. When is your first memory of guilt? When's the first time your brain recognized I did something bad?
Oh, dude, stealing food. That's,
Yeah, same.
You same?
Same.
How come you're not plus size?
I don't know. I probably will be. It's in my genes, baby.
I don't know.
We'll see.
I've seen your jeans.
How old were
Ain't
you?
nothing in there.
How old were you, and who did you steal food from?
My grandma.
Grandma.
Stole it from my grandma, and it was just there was a food storage room. She was from an older time, like dairy farm in Idaho, like westward expansion time. Actually, westward expansion was probably not the right. They homesteaded in Idaho, and they had this pantry room that was the food store room, and like we weren't allowed to eat stuff out of there because it was storage for the
Yeah.
winter, right?
For the
But
apocalypse.
I did not care. I would just, all the old tricks of figuring out how to make it look like nothing had gotten eaten out of it.
Dude.
So there was these like frozen or dried plums and dried apricots, and I would open up like 5 bags of it and just eat a couple out of it because I got caught one time eating half of a bag, and they were like, "Who's been eating these?" And I never fessed up, dude.
Dude, and they're both dead now, right?
Yeah,
You got
Grandma's
away
You
with
dead.
got away with it,
She
dude.
passed on, dude.
Nice.
She has no idea.
So food was your first guilt memory too.
Yes. So I would sneak up. Mine was always sugar food. I thought about it constantly. Oh, yes, that's all I thought about. So at night, I would sneak up and I would, the divots in ice cream things. So I would try to perfectly match the exact
You'd make
divots.
a topographical map of the top of ice cream and
Yes.
try to replicate that, but just lower.
As if people would remember what that looked like, but not how
There's
much
too many
ice cream
crooks
there
in these
was.
nannies.
Because it would be the same. I would match the hills and the valleys, but it would be this much ice cream at first, and then this much when I was done. I'm like,
Isn't it?
Got him.
Not to get like political about it, but is it insane that there's so many like food insecure people where it's just like, if you eat this food, I am so mad at you because you might be putting us in danger. You know what I mean?
What are you talking about?
It's probably a little bit different for yours because it's just like, don't eat the ice cream. There's like the gallon. But for yours, it was just like, we need that food or we'll die. And you're like, I'm hungry and I want a snack.
It's like, I want it now.
Yeah.
I think it was probably both. Probably because I was a big kid, an obese kid. I was a big guy. And I think definitely my parents were also saying, don't eat too much, but not knowing how to say that.
Yeah.
But on the other side of it, it was like, yeah, don't eat all the apricots.
Yeah.
All the dried apricots. We stored that up for winter.
Yeah.
And she died with that food pantry absolutely full of like food.
Yeah.
Completely like stacked. And like a ton of that stuff. It was weird because all my childhood, I'd been yelled at about eating out of there. And then in my like young adulthood, we would go up and help my grandma throw food away out of there.
Yeah.
And so it's just this weird thing. It was like, oh, that's all expired.
That's usually the case with food storage.
Yeah.
Like no one eats all their food
Sadly.
storage.
No one
ever.
eats it. First in, first out.
I was food, and in college, my sister left, and my mom was like, okay, if you come back, you have to like pay for some of the food. And then, and we had like a certain amount of apples, and my sister was like, gonna eat an apple, and I'm like, Caitlin, please don't eat that apple. That's all we have for the week. She was like, it's just an apple, I want to eat it. And I was like, you don't understand. Mom won't buy more apples.
Shit, I don't want to put your mom on blast because she's a lovely lady and I wish to gain her favor. But your mom charged you for ketchup when you came back from college. If you used ketchup, she charged you for ketchup usage.
Wait,
proportional
Wait,
ketchup
what?
usage in a ketchup bottle.
She wanted me to pay for the food that I ate.
When you went back
When
from
I went
college?
back, yeah, and she included ketchup as part of that. But she did later. She's like, I feel bad about that. And I'm
She's like, I still haven't seen the Venmo request come through, but I do feel bad about it.
Is
Yeah.
that why you Venmo me like 3 cents for... Every once in a while, Shae will Venmo me like $2 for a piece of a pie. It's like, hey, you want to try this pie? She's like, sure. And then it's like, cha-ching. I'm like, 25 cents from Shae?
That's the cerise training right
That's
there.
the Charisse.
Yeah, maybe that is where it comes from. I feel, but I get where that comes from because like everyone has a weird relationship with money. I feel like, and so it either goes either way. And so my mom, she just has that like instinct to like, and I'm kind of the same way. It's like we don't know how to budget, and so instead we take it out of places that like don't make sense at all. But then we like splurge on other things, and we're like, how do I make up for this? Oh God!
How am I gonna survive the winter?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. I don't know. That's what we kind of talked about it a little bit last week when it was like food just is kind of like this thing that you're like you have just this weird obsession. And it comes from that. Like, there's things that I still do where, like, I don't eat the thing that I love the most.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, we have ice cream. And I, like, leave it there until it's gone bad.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, I can't have it now. It has to be a perfect moment.
Yeah.
It has to be a perfect time. I'll just eat this handful of Ritz crackers.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know. It's just kind of... It's very scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of food guilt. All right, I don't want to leave we got criticized last time for leaving the chat on hold. So I'm going to check in. We're going to check in a little bit more. We're trying to get quick answers and go. All right, GG, what's up with the YTTT?
We've got a few good questions from TT.
Okay.
More with Stumpo podcast asks, how does a man build the confidence to be around a woman?
More with Stumpo podcast? Is he making fun of us?
No, that's their name.
I also have
your
other
name is
ones if
Stumpo?
you don't like that.
Their name is Stumpo
But
podcast.
they created that profile name to make fun of us.
Also, the way Gabe read it, more with Stumpo podcast.
All right,
More with Stumpo podcast.
I have other questions if you...
I don't know.
I've got a quick answer for that.
Okay.
I think this is obvious. Like, just be friends with women. Like, the second you're like, I'm so nervous because they are this, like, I think the nervousness comes from, like, oh, they are this object of desire, or I'd like it to be. But, like, you wouldn't feel that nervousness with like a guy. And so so I was really lucky growing up that I had way more female friends in my church group at the time. And so they're like, oh, they were just my friends. And then like romantic feelings and stuff came later with some of them, but it was just realized it's like, oh, they're fun. So that's my simple answer.
Wait, what was his question?
How do you build the confidence to like basically hang around women?
Oh yeah, just don't be chauvinist.
I got another one. You should read books that were written by women for women and watch movies and shows that were made by women for women. It's like watch Bridgerton and learn to like it.
You
learn
better
to love it.
You better.
And you will.
Find
There's porn
kissy
in
face
it.
face.
You'll
Kissy.
like it. Trust me. There's porn in it.
Or if you want a quick hack that I learned on TikTok, pretend you have no idea who Taylor Swift is, and then gaslight them into thinking they're teaching you about Taylor Swift.
yeah.
So
Yeah, let them
forever
ladies
you will
thing.
be the guy.
Yeah, let them women-splain things to you.
Yeah.
Wow, incredible.
You're like, I don't even know where even like groceries are.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and here's the thing. The bar is pretty low. So if you just ask questions, honestly, it'll be like, this is so new. Who is this man?
Yeah. It is hard to build up like platonic friendships with women. I don't think it's like a part of like natural culture in America at all. Like it's we're segregated from birth to be in different things like based on like gender. Like it's like no pink bassinets over there, blue bassinets over there, different rooms, different men, and like all of like it's kind of like that in America where there's this idea that like your only interaction with the opposite sex is for sex.
I was talking to my mom and my sister the other day, and I was talking about how, like, there was a bachelorette party, and a woman wanted to go, and they said no, and my sister and my mom were like, well, yeah, you wouldn't believe what men do when they're alone. I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
Dude,
And how do you know? You're not there. You can't be there in a room. But then my sister's husband was like, it's true. Yeah, he's like, the things we draw. I'm like, what?
I think this is just a your mom and your brother-in-law thing. But final pin on it. If you do get to strike up a conversation with a woman, this is really applicable to any conversation. Me and Shae were talking about this, how the bar of conversation is so low. But like the magic words for any conversation, any topic that comes up is, what do you think about that? That almost never happens. And 99% of conversations, it's like, oh, here's a topic I know, A, B, C, D. What's next? But it was just so easy to be like, what do you think about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, to just leave open space for somebody else to talk after you've said your piece.
Yeah.
That's definitely a problem amongst people.
Most people don't know how to conversate. All right, great. Gigi, let's go back to YTTT.
Okay, quick note from Stumpo. Stumpo claims Stumpo is his name.
Oh.
That's
Stumpo
awesome.
is his name?
That is what he claims.
And Stumpo is his name?
And
Oh,
who
come
are
on.
we?
Stumpo with his number.
I love you, Stumpo.
Stumpo, come back.
Dude, I'm close to being a lady. Come on over. Come on, dude. Let's be friends.
Okay,
You scared to talk?
the next question is from Kyle. Do you like or dislike surprises, and why?
Zach doesn't like surprises.
What?
I like surprises if I'm genuinely surprised and they're happening right now.
So he hates when I say, like, Zach, I have a surprise for you. But he likes
And then I'm
it.
like, oh, cool. It's coming in 9 days. It's like, well, why did you put that anxiety on my head?
But he likes it if I say, I have a surprise for you, and it's here right now.
Right now.
It's a pony.
Then it's a gift. It's
Okay,
amazing.
so you don't like to wait for your surprises.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
patience.
Well, also because my brain is like, okay, what is it? Is it a big surprise? Is it a little surprise? And also, what is the adequate amount of response to help you feel good about this surprise? And so if it's 9 days away and I'm like, oh, a shirt. Wow. And like, that's my best acting ability in that moment. But in the moment, I'm like, whoa, a shirt? Cool. That's great.
Oh, yeah,
I was expecting
actually,
a shirt.
Yeah. What? Imagine someone who says, I have a surprise for you, but then it's always a bad surprise.
I have a surprise for you.
I have
It's a pregnancy
surprise for
test.
you.
It's
I have a surprise for you. I'm breaking up.
I broke your car.
I have a surprise for
Pulled
you.
the door off, sorry.
Yeah. I cut your hair while you were sleeping.
I have a surprise for you.
Surprise.
I did that to you guys. Surprise. Get all your stuff out of the kitchen.
If you had framed it like that, I would have loved it.
So funny.
Surprise.
Dude, I know.
And then you gaslight us and you're like, I thought you'd like it.
What are you crazy? I told you this yesterday.
You said you like surprises.
What are you crazy? I told you about the surprise yesterday.
Cool.
That's fun.
Well, I like surprises.
Yeah.
So surprise me.
Surprise Shae. Shae loves surprises.
I live in like kind of a limited emotional range, I think. And so when I'm put on the spot for a surprise, it is scary because I feel like, oh shoot. And it's also probably people pleasing where I'm like, oh shoot, I have to like it so much that they'll lose their mind that they got it for me.
Yeah.
It's like this dumb algorithm.
Yeah.
So I do think surprises kind of have that like little tone. I know my wife feels that way too. When she gets gifts, she wants to open them privately in her own room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But she
that's-
loves gifts.
Yeah.
That's why
It's like
whenever
you.
we get Amy a
Yeah.
gift, we always just drop it off by the door as an offering and slink away.
No, it's
And pray that we'll
And I'm
get
like,
some sort of validation
I think that's so
later.
bogus because I'm like, you should let people see you open your gift.
But it is a lot of weird pressure to put on a person. It's like, I liked it. I spent money on it. Do you like it?
You like it?
Or like when my grandma said, I have a movie I think you'll love. And then all of a sudden I'm like, what do you think of me, man?
It was the Lighthouse Mermaid sex movie or whatever.
like,
Donnie D.
yeah, I think it is a weirdly intimate thing to give someone a gift and be like, I think you'll like this. And then if you don't like it, you have to be like, you don't know me at all. I'm a mystery to you. Right?
Yeah, or you thought you knew me? You thought this is what I was?
Yeah.
Preposterous.
I'm an oyster you will never crack.
I don't ever think that. I think it's just, hey, you got me something fun. That's it. That's all I wanted was like,
It ends there.
you thought about me and you cared enough to buy it? Whoa, fun, dude. I do these like one-off. I'll do these like, I'll be doing something anyway and I say, and that's your present. Like it'll be like, yeah, let's hang out. And I'm like, want those shoes? That's your present. There you go.
That's
There you
cute.
go.
Because statistically, you're going to forget and not get him a present anyway.
Yeah,
Just get him a
I'm bad with that stuff. It's hard.
Question answered. Let's Gigi,
Wait, what was the question?
It was, do you like surprises?
Yes.
Perfect. Question answered. All right, back to the chat.
Okay, we've got 3 questions that are related to improv and you personally, so I'm gonna sort of combine them.
Each one of us personally, or one person personally?
Or just
All of you. Well, there's one question that's just for you, but it's a joke question from Brady.
Amundsen?
Yeah.
What? Brady.
You should be working.
Yeah. What are you doing? You should be working.
I'll tell your boss.
Don't tell anyone, Brady. This is my lunch break. I started working at 7 a.m. this morning so that I could be here for this half hour.
Okay, so it's 3 questions that are sort of combined together when they've been asked. How did you first get interested in improv? How did you meet each other? And how do you become good if you feel like you're really just not funny?
Ooh.
Wait, do we want to do improv questions?
I
real
want to.
quick.
I think that's cool.
We'll take
Okay.
one each. Which one do you want?
You can focus on the part where you met
Okay.
if you want.
Yeah.
That's not strictly improv.
Okay, I'll do how we met. Improv. Okay, what's next?
We met at improv.
Yeah.
How did I start doing improv? That's one of them, right?
Yeah.
I started actually Brady, who's in the chat, who is calling me out for not being at my job right now.
You said that. He just wanted to know something about
I didn't know what he
chicken.
said. You said he said something.
We'll get to that later.
Okay, we'll get to that later. Brady, I called Brady because I saw like a little post on his Facebook about improv stuff, and I had wanted to like start kicking up and making friends with people who were fun. I like playful people. I like fun people, and I wanted to be around them because a lot of my friends had moved off to like college and jobs and stuff like that. And Brady was always a very playful person. I saw him doing improv, so I reached out and I was like, dude, what's up? And he's like, you should come to my show. It's opening at Improv Broadway. First show, first opening night. It was a story about like a stork and a eagle falling in love or something like that in the sky, and the parents didn't approve. It was like a star-crossed lovers, or a Romeo and Juliet with like different types of birds. Lots of puns. David Antablian took the show. Best one out there. Just kidding. He sucks. That's okay to make fun of him, right?
No.
No.
Let's not mention
We
personal
can't
names
make
of
fun of
we
people
know.
on here.
I don't
People we know and
him.
love.
I don't know him. I'm not a part of this.
I don't know him. I just saw him on a show, and I know he's not a part of this theater anymore.
Cool. All right. And I'll answer real quick. How to get good? You are funny with the right people. Everyone's funny with the right people. It's about finding your people, finding your voice. All with maybe the exception of David. Like all three of us are very unfunny in particular instances. David's the only one who has, I think, like the most universal transfer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I've never seen David not funny in a situation. I've seen Shae nervous and unfunny in a situation. I've been nervous and funny.
Outed.
Dude,
You would absolutely agree with me.
you're gonna put me in that box, dude? I have been unfunny.
No,
I've
David
never
is
seen you
always
unfunny.
Fun story. When we were at a pawn shop with David and we were trying to buy a guitar
Oh, yeah.
and we were trying to haggle for a lower price, and then David took on the role as the pawn store owner.
That was fun.
And in front of the guy, he was like, "Well, we can get you down to $350."
It was so fun. I leaned up on the counter next to the guy who was trying to haggle back with you guys, and I was like, "Look, it's 12 strings. That's a 6-string guitar, 12 strings, extra strings.
He
It's gonna
was
cost
selling
more."
me on the guitar. The junior sales associate was laughing so hard.
Yeah, that was fun.
And David was like, $350. I think that's a good.
We could do it out the door.
He said $300 out the door.
Yeah. And then David kept saying, "We can throw in a guitar pick, can't we?
We can get a
Can't we?"
strap. We can. I know.
Like, yeah, throw the strap in for free, can't we?
But the funniest part was like, we'll get you $300 out the door. And the owner, who was like 80 years old, he was like trying to be a savvy businessman. He went, $350.
Yeah, he tried to jump it up 50. We're like, no, see ya.
It was an amazing moment.
Well, let me clarify that. Shae, you are more funny in more situations than I am. But my point
No, you're right.
is that you have your people and you have your not people, and you're brilliant and you're funny and you're charming with your people. And the goal about being funny is expanding that circle and then being able to be like, oh, I can be that part of myself on stage or whatever. And that's true with anything.
It took me a year and a half to make a friend at my workplace. So,
Well, you did start in COVID, so he was like,
that's true.
trying to make friends over Zoom is
Yeah.
impossible. It's like trying to make
That's
friends in
true.
prison. It's hard. But yeah, I think trying to get good at trying to be funny, is that what they're trying to get? They're trying to be funny?
They think they're not funny. They're like, how do I even start? I'm not a funny person.
Oh, just don't try to be funny. Try to be exactly you in every situation. Be exactly who you are when you're on stage. Because then I always feel like when like sketches or whenever the scene goes south, it's because someone's trying to make something happen that doesn't feel right or is inorganic and not good. It's just like they got this weird idea in their head and they want to make everybody else do it, but it's way better if you just try to like bumble through it like everybody else.
I think that's totally true, but the tricky part is actually doing that. Our buddy Kellen Erskine, who's a stand-up and he's brilliant, he said you'll spend your first 10 years of comedy trying different voices until you finally come back to your own, if that makes sense.
All right.
So like it's almost impossible to be your voice because you think you're like, I don't know how to do it. I'm going to be like Demetri Martin. I'm going to be like so-and-so. I'm going to do whatever. And then you finally get comfortable enough to be like, oh shoot, it was my voice all along.
Well, he said stand up. And I will say, I think it's easier to be yourself in improv because you have to say the first thing that you think of.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
usually that's, what you think of.
I think it's expedited, but I do think that process still happens. Like,
Yeah.
I remember like Sam Wright, who's one of the most brilliant improvisers I know now. When he auditioned all the way back in 2014, he couldn't do a scene without being a cowboy or without like putting on an accent or doing these like really
Yeah.
short formy tropes. And now his like bass character is like
It's just
brilliant.
him.
It's him as a little boy.
Always. Him as a naive little boy.
His
That's
voice
his
is being a 9-year-old boy, and he slays it
He
every
loves
time.
it. I don't know, sir. Are you sure?
I bowed to him once. He did an entire like musical with us where his only lines were 5 minutes.
Oh my god.
He was like a Pokemon. He couldn't say anything other than 5 minutes. That's kind of how the character developed. And he would like endow it with emotion, and it just made sense. And the audiences was like oohing and eyeing when like he would do it. And I'm like, what the heck?
It didn't get old.
How's
He's
it?
a-
Yeah,
yeah.
it didn't get old.
He's a master.
Yeah, dude.
All right. Question answered. All right, next GG. Next up in the YTTT.
Real quick, the joke question from Brady Amundsen was, "Can you show us how to eat fried chicken, David?"
He's probably saying that because I keep manipulating the microphone.
Oh,
Yeah. I just have good, hand modeling fried chicken hands. Doesn't it kind of look like good? Like,
Yeah.
they kind of bend.
Yeah, for all those fried
Imagine
chicken
this was a
models out there. Like, oh,
Yeah, dude.
man.
I forgot to mention our other sponsor, Kentucky Fried Chicken and Popeyes. They came together, collaboration for this one only. But yeah,
Answered. Next one up.
okay. From Jamie, opinion on zodiac signs.
true.
True. True or false? True.
True or false? True. Deep question.
I
will
I don't know that much, but when I look up Cancer, which is what I am, all the signs point to true. Moody.
Really?
Moody, yes.
You're moody?
Water sign, yes. Codependent, yes.
Water slide? Yes.
Water sign. Isn't it a water sign? I think my element is water. Gabe, why are you looking so surprised?
I've never heard water sign, and I've definitely never heard water sign described as a personality trait.
For zodiacs, everyone gets an avatar, a last airbender quality attached to your zodiac
One of the
sign.
4 elements.
So you're a
The 4
Cancer.
elements.
What are you?
Leo.
And I'm a Scorpio.
Yeah, we got coins right up there with each one of the. I bought them at some Western thing. They're gold coins with all of the zodiac signs on it.
Review all of our content in which we were in, and you tell us, internet, are we that?
Yeah.
Well, the reality is that the dates are bupkis because like the position of the stars change like with the dates, like they are not consistent for all time, and so like a
who
Leo,
cares?
right? But I will say to Shae, I almost always read it and be like, oh my gosh, that is me. Confident, driven,
Yeah.
insecure, but with a dream.
They're good at what they do.
Yeah, they're good at manipulating you to like, oh, I bet this could be me.
I like it. I hope it's true. And I love the response.
My pearls.
Was that from a necklace? Is that from a necklace or a earring?
You're such a Cancer.
Materialistic Cancer.
Cancer.
Broke.
I don't know anything about. I don't know anything about Scorpios.
You'll have to buy me another, darling. I can't keep doing
I have a
this.
surprise for you.
You'll have to surprise me with another, darling.
You love gifts. Answered. All right, next up.
Okay, from JC Edits. If we could offer free housing, food, and power to everyone as a planet, would we?
Trying to test out if we're communists, cause yeah,
Commies all the way.
yeah, I'm all aboard.
Would we? No.
No,
Of course not.
we already can, and we won't.
We
Yeah.
have all the materials to end the housing and food crisis, and we won't.
But I would, and I wouldn't be a billionaire. I would give away all my money.
Were it my choice,
Yeah,
I would do it.
I would do it.
Except for Russians.
The fight to space.
Not after all
started.
the fight to space. We landed on the moon. I swear it.
I won't let them get to the moon again.
Because I do the same thing in 6 months. I do the same thing in human history.
Yeah.
I'm like, fine. All right, give them their fair wages. Fine.
It is so weird that is such a common thing. It's like, please, sir, can you please like get rid of homelessness? You can. And they're like, we've got to get to Mars. We can't take care of mankind. Don't you
It
see?
is so weird. Yeah. I don't think that it will happen. If it were up to me, 100%.
Yeah.
As me now. But I do think money corrupts.
Money does corrupt.
Money lifts the mind
What's
into
the
an
first-
evil place.
What's the first nasty thing you'd do if you were a billionaire? Your one nasty thing. Everyone gets one nasty thing if you're that rich.
I would ruin Osmoris's life. It's already ruined most of the way, but I want him out. Me and Oz have that kind of friendship. What's up, Oz? Love you.
I mean, on that note, might be my one evil thing, is I would contact who I considered was the most untalented person in the world and tell them that I'm putting them in a high budget feature film and I would do the whole production But then I would like the entire prize. We're talking about evil. What's an evil thing?
Yeah, you
do?
want evil.
Evil.
Go on.
Go ahead. Full production as much as possible, and then but pump them up like this is going to be big. You're doing an amazing job, and then market it as the worst movie of all time, and then like put it up on billboards and put up the face.
Dude.
That'd be cruel.
Dude, didn't
that'd be really cruel.
Didn't what's his name do that?
Who?
Nathan for you?
No, the con artist. No. Shoot. Guy from Freaks and Geeks. He did that movie about the greatest guy ever.
Ashton Kutcher.
No. Not Ashton Kutcher.
Mitt Romney.
No. He was in a...
Adam Devine?
He was the Green Goblin's son.
Franco.
James Franco. Didn't he recreate a movie about a guy?
The Room.
The Room. Yeah, but that was already like everyone kind of knew it was the worst movie ever. And in fact, Tommy Wiseau later went back and he was like, I made it that way. Isn't it funny? It's a comedy.
Dude.
And so he just saw that and made a biopic about it.
Dude, wild. That is evil. You make them feel like they're happy.
And you're talking about like a horribly inappropriate usage of just insurmountable wealth.
I can see
lift
that.
someone up and then just crush them.
Well, I do feel like there's that impulse inside of everybody. Like, I wanted to do an improv show where it was the worst improvisers that I've ever met. But I didn't know how to say, like, hey, can you be on my show as one of the worst improvisers that there is? Because improv has such, like, simple and plain rules, and then people come and just ruin them.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love watching, like, new improvisers come onto a stage and try to figure it out. It's the most genuine I think that a person is, but it's like 2 levels deep genuine, where they're coming onto stage not as themselves and responding as themselves. They're responding as themselves, trying to make it in a small improv scene world. Like, there's people who care so much about improv, huge improv fans, or people who just want to learn how to be funny. They come out, they come to classes, and some of the scenes they do are so funny, but arguably so terrible like improv ever. But to the right audience, I think it's hilarious because it's like, I don't know. But I have a very like nurturing, loving laugh when those people are like just tanking on stage.
Well, David, you don't really like, you do appreciate witty humor and like clever stuff, but like if there was a wild moose that just appeared in the theater, you would think that situation was funny. It's like, I can't believe there's a moose in this building right now. This is hilarious. And so when people go up, they can't be. They are just a wild moose on stage, and you're like, you're gonna crash into the concession stands, and that is so funny.
Fun. Yeah.
Where other people be like, there's a moose in here. You gotta get it out of here.
Yeah. It's been said a couple of times. People have said to me like, you're not even funny, but people are like laughing at you. And it's because I'm like, well, yeah, I try to make jokes that are relatable, that aren't even jokes. Like, I just try to embody what it's like to be in that situation that like a scene or a character is in. And it usually comes across, and when people laugh pretty hard, it's because they're feeling that like familiarity of like, oh, I know what that feels like to be trying to get your dad to let you go for something or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think is funny, but you're right. I don't like clever humor. I don't think it's funny. I hate wordplay. Like those freaking, like that Oliver Anthony song that's super popular right now. It's just double entendres. The whole song is like Richmond, north of Richmond, that song.
I don't know that song.
That's like the height of culture in America now, is like Richmond, North Richmond, perverts on an island in an island, minors and minors. Like, it's all this like double entendre. And then everybody in America is like, this is the greatest song ever because he thought of those word plays. Who cares? Yeah. It's trash. I don't care. It sucks.
Answered.
Oh, yeah. Answered. Sorry. I started ranting.
That's great.
Shae spaced out. Sorry.
That's good.
I know. I was deep in thought. I was pondering. I was like,
True.
I never
Good
know
question.
if Shae's dissociating or if she's just in thought. I'm like, shoot, is there trauma happening?
Dude, I know.
All right, Gigi.
Okay. We're a bit light on deep questions. As a reminder,
deep.
Well, just as a note for both chats, we're kind of trying to stay away from questions about improv. Here's a deepish one. What ice cream flavor do you think matches your personality and why?
That's sweet.
I think the ice cream flavor that matches my personality is my favorite, mint chocolate chip. It's safe, it's classic. Not everyone likes it, but the people who
Fresh.
do, they like it a lot.
We were talking about
Fresh and cleansing, followed with savory bits.
boy, do you have savory bits, boy.
I love your chocolate savory bits, boy.
We were talking about how Zach's mom and his uncle say, you either love me or you hate me. Nothing in between. And talking about how that's such a funny thing to say because, like, that's so rarely true. Like, so rarely does someone, like, truly despise you or is obsessed with you, right? I feel like most people probably feel somewhere in between about most people.
Well, the
right?
reality is there's probably 5 people who despise them and 10 people who love them. Like, that's the whole world. They either love me or hate me. Take me as I am.
Because even after she, like, goes through a cashier, she'll be like, people either love me or they hate me. I'm like, you just brought hamburger buns. Like, she doesn't care.
Sorry, I forgot my credit card at home. You either love me or hate me. We take cash too.
Look,
You hate
Uber
me.
driver, you either love me or you hate me. Let me know at the end of this ride.
Make a decision. Do you love me or hate me?
You gotta pick one, baby.
So Zach's mom is cotton candy ice cream, yes, eh?
I don't know, sorry.
Loved or hated?
I love Superman ice cream, which is kind of like cotton candy ice cream and kind of like
candy.
Play-Doh ice cream.
What do you think your flavor of you is?
God.
Oh, gosh.
What happens if I guess wrong?
The street man's.
You'll be stuck. You'll be stuck in it. I'd say coffee. I
Ooh, yeah.
love coffee ice cream. Kind of like not
safe for kids.
safe for kids and poison to religion.
Well, that's actually really good because
Coffee rum ice
So
cream.
we grew up. We live in Mormon culture, and so a lot of people secretly love coffee ice cream, but they won't admit it out loud.
Oh, dude.
And so you'll make jokes that are very inappropriate, and people like snicker quietly, and then their bishop's watching. They're like,
Yeah.
No, I don't
They
like it.
titter.
This one's coffee flavoring. It's not
flavoring.
coffee.
Yeah.
Jamocha
Flavor.
almond fudge. There's more
Jamocha
almond
flavor.
fudge.
Yeah, and it's also brown too. So, and that's, you know.
Yeah, that's a good
And I'm
one.
brown here.
Sure, I think you'd be fresh strawberry. Yeah, but
You don't
like
like that?
made in like an actual ice cream maker with real bits of strawberry. It's like fresh. It's like unique. You don't get it that much, and so it's like when people, it's like, oh, I love strawberries and I love ice cream, but it's rare.
You don't
It's
like that,
hidden.
Shay?
I don't like that.
And most
Is it
people.
because you look like strawberry ice cream?
Yeah, I think that's why you picked that. Because I have pink cheeks.
Well, you picked coffee.
And seed freckles
And seed freckles.
and a green shirt on.
Yeah. I think, I don't know.
Bubble gum?
Bubble gum, maybe.
Maybe
No.
bubble gum. It's
Bubble
like
gu- bubble
hard
gum's
to
sickly
chew. They're
sweet.
hard to chew bubble gums, but then you chew them for a while, they warm up,
Yeah.
and then they're the funnest thing in the party.
Yeah. I think I just want to choose my favorite ice cream, which is Superman
Well,
ice
I want to give.
Yeah, you are Superman.
I want to
Dude, I'll
give.
pay for that.
I want to give more justification in risking of offending you, but I think it works.
Okay.
Because it's so delicious, but homemade strawberry ice cream takes more work. People need to work with you more to earn like the joyous experience. Isn't that true? Is that not true? You don't open up, right? Shae, listen to me. You
This
don't.
is now the Shay React channel to men telling her what they are.
Yeah, this is who you,
you,
are.
you.
I don't think you give full Shae unless they've earned it. That's the metaphor.
I disagree. I just strawberry.
You despise strawberry.
I'm trying to make a disagree strawberry pun.
Strawberry.
Strawberry.
I just strawberry.
That's good. Just
Anyways,
strawberry.
let's move on to the next
Great. Answered. Next question.
From Morbid on TikTok. If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
I mean, this is going to be dumb, but be kind. It's so easy to be kind. And it's just, but people will dance around why they shouldn't be kind. Well, it's a hard world. We need truth. I'm like, no, Be nice. Be kind always.
Be nice.
Kind. That's my lesson.
That it's okay to lie sometimes.
And we all do it.
And we all do it. It's okay sometimes, but it's bad other times. And that's why we want to be able to say, like, you just can't lie, because it's harder to draw the line of when you can lie and when you can't. And so that's why we want to just be like, it's always bad.
And,
But
if you
sometimes
think
it's
you
good.
can't, you're lying to yourself.
What's the last lie you told?
Shoot, what is the last lie I told?
When you said you weren't mad about me uprooting your house? Uprooting your house with remodels?
No, because I think emotions, you should be honest about that. You guys think so?
Oh, so never lie about your emotions.
I think you
Just
should be
lie
honest
about-
about your emotions. But I think lying about, like, I'm trying to think. I don't know. I don't know where to draw the line either.
I think it's entirely subjective. But the whole like moral argument for honesty always 100% like clearly isn't true. You can take extreme examples.
Yeah.
And you can take like everyday examples and you could find like, well, obviously that's different. That's not quite lying. I'm like, no, I think dishonesty is a part of human nature and we do it all the time.
I lied about going to lunch today. Because for some reason it's okay to say at work, I got to go to lunch. But if you say, I got to go do this thing for a podcast thing, then it's like, you lying. You're a time thief. You're stealing time. That's what it is. That's what you're doing.
You're ruining us. Bankruptcy.
But it's just more acceptable. Oh, gosh. Now I feel like I have to say it. But I worked extra time in
Yeah.
the morning to like make up for anyway, it's just stupid. But it's more, it makes the sugar go down. So it's, it helps to
Yeah.
lie.
Right. It's like you can lie to evil people.
Right.
That's like the no-brainer.
Well, I also think you have to like trust people with the truth. Like if I was going through a really dark, complicated time
Yeah.
and someone was like, you don't seem to be doing well. Are you doing okay? And I don't trust this person. I'd be like, no, I'm doing fine.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely.
that's true. It's like the
Totally.
difference between privacy and, what's the other one? Secrets?
Privacy.
Privacy and
Safe.
Privacy. Privates.
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 The difference
Privacy
between
and
privacy and
privates.
privates.
You keep your privates to yourself, and privacy is open to everybody.
Yeah, food for thought. I don't know. What do you guys think? When do you think it's okay to lie?
We don't have time.
I like that.
I'm sorry, we don't
Teaching
have time.
people it's okay to lie, I think that's okay. I think, but I feel like everyone's lying already a lot.
Well, I
They
think
don't
people
need help.
get
Yeah,
like
they don't
mad.
need more teaching.
They get, I mean, if it's like stressing you out, mad cognitive dissonance, like don't be a dishonest person that's going to hurt people. And if you do, and you inevitably will, own up to it and try to make it better and like make your peace with the world. But the idea, the whole like the character on The Good Place, where he's like morally it is always wrong to lie. I think it's like a crazy stance to hold.
I would teach the world how to cook because I would say 99% of the time I'm mad about what is being served to me at a restaurant. Or, I mean, obviously I love food. But it's like, I feel like there's so much like right there, easy things to do at a restaurant to just make that food good.
Yeah.
Even like at fast food places or whatever, like literally just make it hot. You built a huge machine to pump out hot food fast.
Yeah.
And you gave it to me cold? What the? It's not you. This isn't your McDonald's. You don't own this company. So throw away the cold fries and pump out hot ones, you stupid kid. I want them dead, dude. I want every kid dead.
Answered. All right, I think we got time for one more question. What's the deepest question we got on
Oh, okay.
YTTT?
Pervs or privates? Privacy or privates? That's my deep question.
Yeah. Let's do a poll. Privacy or private?
Okay.
Privates all
Here's a
day.
good one. From Lizzie on YouTube. Who in your life shaped your personality the most?
Oh my goodness. Mine's kind of like an origin story style. And I'm just like kind of packing it out to get deep questions, deep cues. Thanks, Lizzie.
Thanks, Lizzie. Yeah,
Thanks, Lizzie.
Do Hero's Journey on us.
Tiny origin story, hero's journey thing. I've always felt like kind of unaccepted by whatever. And just recently, like the last few months, I've been working with a therapist. And like she just asked me a lot about my childhood. She's been asking a lot about that kind of stuff. And like I figured out that like I'm separated from my siblings by like a few years on either side, like 6 years and 4 years.
Oh, wow.
And my older siblings hated me, hated having me around, pushed me, called me a leech, never wanted me to go anywhere with them. And like my parents were always like trying to like, you have to take your brother. That kind of like classic like old movies, old American like brothers and stuff. And then my little brother, like he was so far removed the other way that he kind of had his own stuff that he was doing. And I had learned like that cycle of like, oh yeah, anyone younger than you have to hate them. And so like there's this weird like gap, and I just never belonged with anyone or anywhere. So I've always, in every stage of my life, had to carve out my own friends, network, people, family. Like I don't care. Like when my family's doing stuff, I'm not even interested in it. I'm not even worried about like going. I go to help out and stuff like that. But it's like my friends, people that I'm like with, that's who I create like bonds with and care about. So that's like 100% like my older siblings being pieces of crap to me as a kid, just put me out on my own. And it's like been great.
That's cool.
Been great to carve out like actual friendships and relationships with people.
Well, you're also one of the most unique people I know. So it's like going on your own. You had to find it. You had to like pick twigs in the forest.
That's the other part of the origin story is my mom not making me go to school at all. So I just had a young brain being built by itself. And that's why I don't like to do stuff that I don't want to do. I hate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Shae? Where's your personality come from?
Well, I definitely think my mom, like in both ways. I think she like trained me to like, you know, be nice, but also she told me not to do a bunch of stuff that I then did.
Well, yeah, I mean that's kind of the origin style. Like you're met with a force that you refuse.
Yeah.
That's what builds like you're like, oh, I'm gonna think for myself.
Yeah. I also think my mom laughs at herself constantly, and she does crazy stuff, and like she like the only man that's asked her out after my dad was like this guy in the library, and she was like it was just so weird of him to ask me out. He's so old and I'm so old, and why would we ever go on a date? And so I think I learned how to like laugh at myself.
Shae, real quick, do you remember that last text from your mom? Can you read it out loud real quick?
Yeah.
Just this one text will perfectly encapsulate Shae's mom, and it'll make a lot more sense where Shae came from.
She makes me laugh so much. Okay, wait.
Your mom's so nice.
She said, she said, when do you want to go to Bones? Did I get that right? Pretty sure I didn't, but you know what I mean.
To Bones?
She just guessed a word, and then it was just like, you could go back and Google it and then change it, but it was just stream of consciousness, like, I don't know if that's right. Is it?
I'm thinking Slapfish. She's trying to go to Slapfish, the restaurant.
No.
Hold on, let's all guess what we think Bones is.
Wishbone.
I'm gonna guess a museum, a dinosaur museum.
What's the story?
My
Wishbone.
father's cemetery.
Is a cemetery all of a sudden. Time to go to Bones.
Gather around, children. Time for Bones.
Let's go see Bones.
And you all hold a bone. We do kind of this gross thing with my dad. We go up for Memorial Day to my mom's grave, and we make him lay down on the ground and take a picture. And we're gonna have these like like gradient of him slowly getting older on the ground, and then one day he's gonna be buried.
He's gonna be next to her, too. Oh my gosh, the last one will just be his grave
just
next to
slowly
hers.
like frail until he's old and dying.
That's the funniest bit I've ever heard.
It's gonna be. Well, I see those like. I took a picture of my daughter from the time she was 9 to 75.
Yeah.
I want that, but for my dad slowly dying into the
turning
ground.
to dust.
You can play it at his funeral.
I know. I can't wait to cry my eyes out when he's dead.
I don't want to embarrass myself. I know everyone thinks their mom is crazy and does funny things. I'm a part of that. It's a part of culture that ties us together.
You came from it.
We all, and I love my mom. She's smart and capable and amazing.
So true. All right, YouTube, that's all the time we have left. TikTok, if you're on here, stay here for the Shae recap. But thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to keep improvising.
Wait, you didn't answer.
Oh, me? Oh, real quick, my answer is when I was growing up.
Colin Mockery.
Colin Mockery. All right, that's us. See you later. Bye.
No, do it.
No, you did it.
Give it to us. Do it.
Yeah, I didn't want to be like my parents at all when I was younger, and now when I'm old older, because I'm like a chameleon. Like my personality would change to the strongest personality of my friend group, and I still do that some ways. But now, like the true parts of me, my mom comes out with like silly things, and then like my serious, like let's conflict resolve, that comes from my dad.
When Zach acts like his mom, I call him Linda's son.
Linda's son.
Linda's son.
Linda's. Hideous.
Son of
I don't
Linda.
know. Hideous. All right, that's it for us, YouTube. We'll see you next time. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
All right, let's get set up here.